Hey there, I'm Tracy Matthews of Flourish and Thrive Academy. Excellent photography of your jewelry is vital to your brand's success. Your jewelry photos are used in all of your sales and marketing promotions. And if you don't have good images, trust me, you won't be taken seriously and you're gonna lose sales. But investing in expensive photography might not be in the budget right now. That's why I want to share with you some jewelry photography tips for designers on a budget. If your photography is subpar, you aren't going to get the sales you want for your business online or off. The first thing you should look at are your photos. Crappy photos can arguably be the one thing holding you back from editors, buyers, and customers taking you seriously. If your photography sucks, you'll look like a hobbyist. Now, I'm going to share something really vulnerable here. When my first business was young, it was easier to slide by with crap photography, and I actually did it for a while. Online shopping wasn't around yet, and I typically showed my collections to buyers in person, so having so-so photography was okay to start out with. I am so embarrassed to show you this, but I wanted to share with you some of the photography I used on my line sheets for my first collections. Can you even tell what I'm selling here? There is no way to visually identify if these are necklaces or bracelets or even just strings of gems. Now, compare this to one of the catalogs I did a few years later when my photography was professionally shot. You can definitely tell what was being shot here and identify what each piece of jewelry is. Now, which collection do you think buyers would be more compelled to buy? You might be thinking that you don't have the money to hire a professional photographer, or you don't have the equipment necessary to take photographs yourself. Before you throw in the towel and just toss up any old photos on your website or catalog, keep in mind that there are affordable ways to photograph your jewelry on your own. So today I'm going to give you some great jewelry photography tips for designers on a budget. Okay, before we get started, let's take a look at where you are now. Here are a few things to consider. Is your photography consistent? Is the background the same on all images? Is it easy to understand what the piece is or looks like? Are the pieces in focus? What do you like and what don't you like about your current photography? Take note of all these things as we go through some of the tips here. All right, here are some general things to think about for any type of jewelry photography. So the first is to make sure that you're using a good camera. Now, this might seem obvious, but iPhones probably aren't going to cut it. But a simple point and shoot can take surprisingly decent photos. If you can, upgrading to an SLR camera is ideal. These cameras will most often take photographs at higher resolutions, which means you can blow them up as big as you want and offer more customization with lenses and stellar focus. If you can't afford to buy a quality camera, consider renting a camera from a local photography store. You can rent a package for a daily rate that comes with all the necessities and tidbits like lenses and batteries. Make sure that you're using the appropriate lens for the type of shoot you're doing. For still shots, you definitely want to have your camera on a macro setting and use a macro lens or possibly a telephoto lens for product shots. In general, the longer the lens, the more close-up it can get. For lifestyle shots, you might need more than one lens. You could be shooting the jewelry up close or shooting someone wearing the jewelry, so how close up you'll be will really depend on the shoot. Telephoto lenses allow you to shorten or lengthen the lens, effectively zooming in or out, so try to get your hands on one with a wide range for an easily customizable look. The world of lenses can get confusing, and you don't need to know everything about them if you're not a professional photographer. Simply ask your local photography shop if you're not exactly sure which lens is best for you. Make sure you have good lighting. You don't need a fancy lighting kit all the time. Often natural light is best for jewelry if you're shooting in the right light. We'll talk about light boxes in a second, but in general, anything white reflects light. For instance, if light is coming in from a window, making a shadow on your piece, hold up a white piece of paper or a poster board as a reflector near the shadowed side to reflect the light. Powerful lights can be purchased for under $100 and be used over and over again, or rented for less than $20 at a photography store. When you're shooting indoors without much natural light, purchasing or renting even just one bright light from your local hardware store or photography store can make a world of difference, especially when you're using a bounce board, a reflector, or a light box. For still shots, make sure that you use a light box. A light box is essentially a box in which the entire inside is pure white, allowing the light to be reflected every which way and giving you a stellar all-white background. Light boxes are particularly great for jewelry product shots, as they're the perfect size with a professional white background, a standard in the jewelry industry. You can buy one for less than $100, often on amazon.com, or rig your own light box by searching tips on Pinterest and Google. If you have a couple of extra hours and you're crafty, I've heard of designers making do-it-yourself light boxes for under 20 bucks. Shoot on a white background for your website and press shots. When shooting jewelry product images, less is more. White backgrounds are great because photo editors and graphic designers who you work with down the road will be able to edit these images very easily. Now, not to mention the fact that jewelry can often be ornate and colorful, so having anything but a white background can risk making the photo way too busy. When you have a crisp, clean, all-white background, you know it will look good on any website, in any catalog, or in any magazine. It's really hard to get the background white without post-production work, but shoot on a white background and try to get the background as white as possible, and then have the photo edited later on. Again, light boxes help with this. Don't stress too much if your backgrounds aren't 100% white before editing. Use a tripod. No matter how steady of a hand you have, holding the camera will inevitably lead to a fuzzy, out-of-focus photos, especially when you're shooting jewelry up close. At the very least, invest in a tabletop tripod from amazon.com or a more professional standing tripod, which can be used for lifestyle shoots too. When shooting earrings, remember to stock up on fishing line. Hang your earrings on the fishing line to make your earrings appear like they're floating. You might have to rig the setup, but trust me, your earrings will never look better. Clean up the photos with post-production editing. You can do it yourself, your post-production, by learning programs like Photoshop or photo editing software. You can edit colors, brightness, saturation, and even change the color of stones and metal if you learn the program well enough. You can also edit out the background so it's a bright white. It does take time, so you might want to consider hiring out the post-production. This is an especially good option if you're totally unfamiliar with Photoshop or other programs. As I mentioned before, getting your photograph on an all-white background is no easy task. Use a site like Elance or Odesk or Fiverr is a great way to find photo editors out there who can make the background white on your images, achieving the perfect white for a very affordable price. I've heard of designers even paying $1 to $2 an image for this. Yes, it does cost money out of pocket, but think how much time you'll save. Okay, now that we've covered still shots, let's dive into lifestyle shots. Use Pinterest for inspiration first. Pinterest can give you loads of inspiration, whether you're doing still life shots or model shots. Curate looks and images that inspire you in advance so you can inform the setup of each shot, direct the model, and decide the locations with plenty of time to spare. Find a friend or family member to be a model for you. Hiring a professional model can be super pricey, but everyone has a pretty friend or relative that can step in as your model. Offer them a small piece of jewelry for their time or take them out to dinner. Remember, model shots don't always have to include the face and all body parts. For instance, my cousin has really great hands and I often use her for ring and bracelet shots. You could try finding a friend with a beautiful neck and complexion for necklace shots. Now it's time to get creative. Finding a model who works best for each one of these types of close-up shots can be a struggle, but don't be afraid to use more than one. Use a resource to help you shortcut. Buy a photography class on minute.when or use a resource like Create and Thrive's photography guide. You can find it here at flourishthriveacademy.com/CT photography. If you're already interested in photography, taking a course can satisfy your personal creativity while also helping your business. Taking quality photos is time-consuming, yes. However, if you're trying to stay on a budget and still come out with professional images, a do-it-yourself approach is your best bet. Now, it's time to hear from you. In the comments below, answer the following questions. Do you shoot your own jewelry images and why? And what's your biggest challenge when photographing your own jewelry? Thanks so much for watching this episode, and I hope that you gain lots of inspiration for your photography on a budget. If this video was useful, make sure you like the video, follow our channel, and share it with your friends. Then pop on over to flourishthriveacademy.com for more jewelry business advice and free training.